Any reference to the test shall include any statutory extension or modification of the enactment of such standards and regulations.
Welcome to Legal Network Television. This is the first of our 2 Unscrambled broadcasts this week and is a repeat of a program first shown to subscribers in August. In the program, we examine current and prospective changes in the training of solicitors and then look at the ways in which a number of firms are using LNTV. But first, perhaps the most radical of the current changes, the replacement of the Law Society's final course and examination by the new legal practice course. Why the new course, and how does it differ from the old one?
Well, there have been such major developments in law and the practice of law over the last 10 or 15 years that it was really long overdue that we actually took a pretty radical rethink and tried to create a system that would take us through for another 10 or 15 years at the very least.
Do sit down, Mr. Robert. Thank you. Well, I understand you're here to see me about a problem over a will? Yes, it's the will of a...
The new course is radically different and includes assessment of practical skills.
It's the first time students will be required to actually do work on oral skills, not just the written skills of drafting and so on, but oral skills such as interviewing, negotiating and advocacy. The next difference is that the first time students will be able to choose. It'll be a limited choice, but they'll be able to choose 2 out of their 6 subjects as options from quite a wide range. There will be no final examination set by the Law Society. There will be coursework assessments and examinations set by the teaching institution under the supervision of the Law Society.
Everything now depends on the quality of the teaching institutions. How will the Society ensure that they are of a uniformly high standard?
There'll be a rigorous programme of course validation, and that will involve both practitioners and academics looking at the curriculum, the teaching methods and the resources available at the institution.
What are the likely benefits?
I think it'll be more relevant because we've really overhauled the curriculum to make sure it does have a greater bearing on modern practice.
Okay, Caroline, that was very, very good. You put the client at her ease. She was very comfortable.
It's designed to test out those competencies which all students must have in their early days in the office as trainees, rather than just merely being a memory test.
Once in articles, all trainees passing the LPC must complete the professional skills course. Effectively, another month's study during articles and some examinations on top of the LPC.
The professional skills course will build upon the foundations laid in the legal practice course, which starts this year, 1993. And its aim is to cover those areas which is felt are best covered once a trainee has had some exposure to office experience.
The areas to be covered are accounts, advocacy and oral communication skills, investment business, personal work management, and professional conduct.
Accounts and investment business will both be examined. Advocacy and oral communication skills will be appraised, and trainees at the end of it will be given a written appraisal listing their strengths and their weaknesses.
The 5 modules can be done at any time in articles, although there is a recommendation that they should not be covered in the first 3 months. But how big a disruption will it be?
Investment business and accounts can be totally studied by distance learning. Parts of personal work management can also be followed by distance learning, but advocacy and oral communication skills and professional conduct will need to be actually attended as a course.
Further information about the professional skills course is available from the Law Society and from the College of Law. Service under articles, or rather now a training contract, continues to be essential to qualification. There will be a new system of authorization and monitoring from July 1994.
A firm of solicitors will have to be authorized to take trainee solicitors if it wants to take trainees at all. In the first instance, authorization will be automatic. Monitoring will be conducted by monitoring panels against a centrally defined set of standards. There is a training code that firms will undertake to abide by as a condition of their obtaining their automatic authorization.
The training code will be supplemented by written skills standards.
I do wish to emphasize that though talk of codes and standards and so on and so forth is inclined to be regulatory in its perception, that the emphasis in monitoring by panels under these two sets of standards is going to be supportive. The intention, the objective is to ensure that the smallest firm will be able to continue to take trainee solicitors, and that the smallest firm will be given such assistance as is necessary to enable it to comply with these standards.
It has long been recognized that there is a need for training beyond articles. At the moment, compulsion only applies to the relatively recently qualified. But all that is to change soon.
Compulsion will be extended to the entire profession by phases. The first phase is next year, 1994, when all solicitors admitted on and after 1st November 1982 will become subject to the scheme. They will become subject on 1st November 1994, and it will be extended to the whole profession on 1st November 1998. There is no age limit, although the regulations are suspended for those who are not in legal practice or employment.
Even the academic stage, the law degree or common professional examination, is under review.
There've been major changes in law and practice in the last few years, and it's important that students are made aware of those. There have also been major changes within higher education. For example, many courses are now broken down into very small modules. Also, there are perhaps rather worrying trends with regard to the resources available to law schools. The major changes that we hope to bring in will be, firstly, that European Community law should become a compulsory subject, but also be expecting to see a major overhaul in the law of trusts and equity. And finally, we shall be expecting that all law students should be able to use the law library as a research tool.
The changes envisaged by the Society are expected to be in place for academic year 1995-96. Nowadays, the Society is not the end of the line on training matters. The Lord Chancellor's Advisory Committee has a duty both to approve proposals for change in the training of solicitors and to review current training and make recommendations. How far has it got?
The most important task, and we've taken up almost all of 2 years, is looking at the whole general question of rights of audience for solicitors and for employed barristers.